What's going on, everyone? Austin John Plays here, and it's Pokemon Scarlet and Violet time. And today we're going to be talking about the starters, their evolutions, my experience with them. Let's get into it. I've spent 77 hours playing Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'm not done with the Pokedex yet because there's a lot to do in this game and I'm enjoying it. But before I start my coverage and everything else like that, I think the number one thing everyone wants to know is what do the starters turn into? I'm going to be covering this in sort of segments, and I'm going to be discussing what I'm going to talk about before I get into that part. So some people just don't want to see the final form. Some people don't want to see anything and are just going to click this video because they like me. I don't know. But I'm going to be going over this and I'm going to explain what I'm talking about before I go over those sections so you are not spoiled by anything. First of all, Fuecoco, Sprigatito, and Quaxly are the three starters of this generation: your fire type, your grass type, and your water type. First, let's go over some basics for the three starter Pokemon. They have similar stats to starter Pokemon, they evolve into Pokemon with similar stats to second forms of starter Pokemon, and the third versions have more varied stats. They all have your regular grass, fire, and water abilities. You have some grass starters that are more seed-based, as I like to say, like Bulbasaur, who does leech seed and poison powders and stuff like that. And then you have some that are more attack-oriented. Sprigatito is definitely more attack-oriented. In the time between when you get it on level 16, it has the regular stuff. It has Bite, the dark move for coverage, Hone Claws, Magical Leaf, and Quick Attack, and then you will evolve to the second form. When it comes to Fuecoco, he's the tiny little fire crocodile. I think he is the most adorable, mostly because of how he just kind of looks up at the trainer all the time with a big open mouth. Yep, just like that. He's like, hey, I want to be involved. Moves-wise, he has Tack, Ember, Round, Bite, and Incinerate, and then he evolves at level 16. He is the one that I chose for my first playthrough. Actually, I ended up playing with all three, but I wanted to focus on him because I like fire types. Isn't that right? Yeah, that's right. Third is going to be Quaxly, the water duck, who has the big Pomodoro hair, which is kind of neat and everything. It has Pound Growl, Water Gun, Work Up, which is kind of neat to have at level 7, Wing Attack, a flying type move for coverage, Aqua Jet, and then evolves at level 16. Now I'm going to be talking about the second forms of the starters, and I'm going to be showing them to you. If you don't want to see them, probably now's a great time to click away. The second forms of the starters, they start to take on less animal-like appearances and start to take on more humanoid personality appearances. First, let's start with Sprigatito's evolution, which is... This is Florigato, as in flower cat. I think it's kind of based off of the design of a thief. And it has this little cool yo-yo that it uses to attack with, and it does the Naruto run. It does that too. He likes to run around in circles. He's a big fan of doing exactly that he's doing right now. He does it all the time. Florigato starts to kind of give you an idea on where the Pokemon is going in regard to its base stats, that it excels very well in attack and speed, and then its HP, defense, and special attack all kind of fall behind. So it's becoming more specially tailored to physical attack and speed, which is what you want for, you know, a starter Pokemon that can go through and attack lots of things. As far as its level up moves, it's going to learn Seed Bomb, U-Turn, the bug type move that allows you to swap out, so it's a good start to your party, Worry Seed, and Slash, and then it's going to be evolving at level 36. Oh, he's taking a nap, because he's a cat. It's a cat nap. Next up is Fuecoco's evolution, and somewhat of a weird design choice. This is Crocolore. It's a pure fire type. It just kind of looks like a bigger version, and it has a big old fire sombrero. Instead of just the little sprout alfalfa thing going on, that's a big old fire sombrero. Mainly focused on Fuecoco, but he started to show some problems around his second form. Unlike Sprigatito's evolution, it started to have more issues having a specialty, and it just kind of became more bulky. Its speed didn't increase a lot from 36 to now its second form being 49, which is pretty bad, even by, you know, a second form of starter Pokemon standards. Its special attack is 90, physical attack 55, HP is 81, physical defense is 78, special defense is 58. So it excels in HP and special attack. He is not fast. The moves it learns at this point are going to be Incinerate, Snarl, Roar, and Flamethrower, and then it evolves at level 36. This is when I started to have problems with my Fuecoco line. Quaxly, who I will be honest was the least favorite of mine as far as design, got even less favorited. This is Quaxwell. He has a big old hair thing going on, and he's a standing upright duck. But unlike the other two, its stats are much more balanced, that it has a physical attack of 85, and then right below that is going to be 70 for health, and then 65 for defense, speed, special attack, and 60 for special defense. So it excels a little bit in physical attack, but then kind of around the board at everything else. 65 is still okay once you're at that point in the game. He's not going to be slower than a lot of things. Nowhere near Sprigatito 2. And did he take it? He's taking a knee to take a nap. Okay, that's a weird thing. Weird thing that he's doing right there. As far as its moves that it learns, it gets Water Pulse, Low Sweep, Aqua Cutter, Air Slash, and Focus Energy, and then evolves at level 36. So now's the point in the video that some people are trying to avoid as far as seeing the third form of the starters. First, I want to take some time and tell you all about them. I want to tell you about my experiences with them, how I played through the game with them. I did play one playthrough with all three of them. And then after I'm done explaining all that, I'm going to then show them to you. So if that's not something you want to see, you're going to have plenty of time. Sprigatito evolves into Florigato, and then at level 36, Florigato is going to be evolving to Meowscarada. Hope I'm saying that right. It has very good stats for being a physical sweeper. 123 in speed, and 110 in attack. I think that Florigato over here looks awesome. Okay, it evolved and I was like, all right, I really like this thing. Like even look at the little box art down there. He's standing so prestigiously, like a bandit thief ready to do work. And I love that about its design. It kind of loses that in the third version. Again, not revealing it quite yet. That's going to be at the end of the video. Its very high speed and fairly high attack come in handy because of its typing, which is not good. It is grass and it is dark. The reason grass dark is not a good typing is because it's weak to fighting, flying, poison, fire, ice, fairy, and quad weak to bug. It actually has the same amount of resistances as it does weaknesses, the same amount of quad weaknesses as it does immunities. And it's so polarizing that if you know the type matchups of the Pokemon that you're going up against, you're going to excel great. If you're familiar with the attacks that they have, you're okay. The problem therein lies, it's a new generation with 103 new Pokemon that you don't know their typing, and especially on the first encounter, you don't get the little super effective, not very effective thing. You don't know what moves they could have, and the Terra Raid Dens, there are a variety of different Terra types that aren't always matched up with the attacks that a Pokemon could have. In addition, Terra Pokemon have more than 4 attacks, so it becomes very, very difficult to know if you're going to excel at this matchup or if you're guaranteed to be KO'd. As far as move coverage by level up, it gets Slash, Energy Ball, Play Rough, Knock Off, Dark type move, Grassy Terrain, and Leaf Storm. Meowscarada's signature move is Flower Trick. It's a grass type move that is a 100% crit chance every single time, 80 base power, physical, 10 PP. My biggest problem with Meowscarada, it just didn't hold up. Okay, there's lots of new Pokemon in the game. There's lots of new types of Pokemon in the game. While I do like my starters being, more attacky, I prefer my grass types specifically to be more seedy, as I mentioned before, getting your status afflictions off and things like that. And while he can deal some good damage, he can't take a hit. After one hit, he was always guaranteed to be KO'd because of how many weaknesses he had. I just checked and I actually stopped using mine at level 42. At level 42, there were other Pokemon that I wanted to experiment with, bring in, use for raids, use for gyms. He wasn't really that helpful. I'm sorry. I wanted to like him, but then also the appearance. Again, doing appearances later. Up next, Boom! Oh, it's still the second forms. Crocolore evolves into Skeledirge at level 36. It looks awesome. It is by far the coolest looking out of the three. There is no argument about that. After I show them to you, you're gonna be like, you know what? Austin was right. Definitely the coolest looking. Skeledirge is unfortunately Fire Ghost. And if you played Pokemon Legends Arceus and you used Hisuian Typhlosion, you know the exact problem with Fire Ghost. And the exact problem with Fire Ghost as a starter remains true now. It's everything has bite. Everything has bite, and after 2 hits, you get KO'd. In addition to that, my Skeledirge had a lower speed nature, so I was so slow. His stats, speed is 66. It's his worst stat. He is absolutely horribly slow. His special attack is 110, so it's not that great. It's not like he's gonna, really pounce around. Defense, 100, pretty good. Good against, defending against bite and rock moves and things like that. Special defense is 75. Not great for dealing with special dark moves and lots of other things, water type moves, lots of problems that can come your way randomly. Attack is 75 because you're not supposed to use physical attacks. HP is 104. His move pool, after evolving at level 36, you're going to be getting Shadow Ball, nice, Hyper Voice, Will-O-Wisp, Hex, Fire Blast, Overheat. Oh, I forgot his signature move. He has a new signature move called Torch Song. Torch Song is an 80 base power special type fire move with 10 PP that after doing the move, you get a special attack boost, which sounds phenomenal. It is a special fire type power-up punch. The problem is, because of your really slow speed, you're never actually going to be able to sweep. You run into a situation that because you're not fast enough to deal with the second Pokemon or the third Pokemon, I was losing at gyms that I clearly should have won at. So that's my problem with him. However, I do want to say I had him with me until the very end. I kept him with me on my team. He's honestly one of the ones that I wanted to root for the most. And Fire Ghost, while it isn't the best typing, it kind of worked into a niche that I was building in my whole team synergy. But more than anything else, that signature move was too much to pass up. And this game, once you reach one of the gyms in the later areas, you can just buy nature mints. In addition, you'll find them all over the place. And once I was able to find a nature mint that gave me plus speed minus attack, he did much better. You could buy protein in the store, you don't need to use BP for it, the price has been reduced, and being able to just load him up with speed EVs, once he was faster, he was unstoppable. I was at the point that I could take on 5-star raid dens with no problem. All I have to do is hit the Torch Song button and then I win. Because during the raid dens, like it was in Sword and Shield, at random times they're going to take away your stat buffs, but you're still rebuilding them. Honestly, one of my favorite Pokemon to deal with 5- and 6-star raids that I've encountered so far. My Croconaws final build ended up being Torch Song, Shadow Ball, Will-O-Wisp, and Yawn. So he's usually at the front of my party, so I could get Yawn out turn 1 on wild Pokemon, and then I swap him out because I can. And then whoever I'm going to swap in, it's usually bulkier and has false swipe and can do the job well. Or if I'm doing a raid den, you're going to see I gave him choice specs. You could just buy choice specs. It's in a store. I don't even think you have to be a champion to buy it. It's pretty awesome. There's no BP. There's no BP in this game at all. Just buy whatever competitive items you want and throw them on your Pokemon. Our third to talk about is Quaxly, who evolved into Quaxwell, and Quaxwell at level 36 evolves into Quackavol. Like Quackavol. Because I want to say Carnival, because he's a carnival dancer. And I want to say Quack, so Quackavol. I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to be pronounced. Quackavol has objectively the most polarizing design that you are going to absolutely hate, or you're going to really like it, depending on how much you know about what carnival dancers look like. In fact, here's a picture of a carnival dancer, and if you think that's a cool thing and how they dance, you may like how he looks. If you don't like how that looks, you may not like how he looks. All right, so Quackavol. It was actually the best starter. during my actual playthrough. While I'm going through and everything else, his move variety, his typing is water fighting. So he's double weak to flying, grass, electric, psychic, and fairy. The good news is those 5 types specifically, you kind of know if those attacks are coming at you. It's not like, oh, you know, I'm a fire type. By the way, I have this thunder punch. You don't really encounter that much in this game. Some things have Zen Headbutt, which is inconvenient, but he sometimes lives those attacks and he sometimes doesn't. Stat-wise, he has an attack of 120, which is fantastic. Speed is 85, which is pretty bad. Special attack 85, HP 85, defense is 80, special defense is 75. But his signature move that he gets on evolution is called Aqua Step. 80 base power, physical type move, and when it's executed, your speed stage goes up 1. So that horrible speed stat of 85 actually doesn't really matter anymore. If you can live the first hit and you know you're gonna be super effective, you can rake up that momentum of speed and do a very good job. Has amazing type coverage. I love it when a water type has a flying type move. It just makes dealing with grass types so much easier. Okay, move he gets on level up. We have Mega Kick, which I didn't use. Acrobatics, which is phenomenal because you're rarely holding an item during your playthrough. Liquidation, Feather Dance, Close Combat, Wave Crash. In addition to that, he can learn Swords Dance. I gave him Low Kick, which is one of the first TMs you get in the game, so him having a fighting type move even before he evolved from a Quaxly was fantastic. And then on top of that, he also gets Baton Pass via TM. So if you really wanted to and you're dealing with a matchup that you know you're not gonna win, you can use Baton Pass to then swap him out to something else that now has all that speed. Like, I know it's a very situational thing, but then I swapped in Skeledirge, who has horrible speed, but has Torch Song, and I just destroyed everything in the game. My problem with Quaquaval comes down to once you get into the post game and you're dealing with raid dens. When you're dealing with raid dens, which you're gonna be doing quite a bit for specific things that I don't want to get into in this video, he sort of lacks. Because you're going to be using him to deal with Terra types that are... You're probably going to be using Aqua Step, and that just increases your speed. And I don't know if that actually does anything during a raid den. It just means you're going first in turn order. It's not like you get to attack more times per turn. While he did have good move coverage, during raids, you're only doing one move, and you're just doing it over and over and over and over again. I have a very good grass type, who is also a ground type. That has not been officially revealed, and they are who I am using to deal with ground and rock type raid dens right now. Unfortunately, Quaquaval, while he was fantastic for my entire playthrough, I never used him in raid dens. All right, probably the moment you guys have been waiting for. Let's get these evolution screens going. So again, at level 36, Quaxwall is going to be evolving. Yep, that's Quaquaval, and yeah, 80 base power, physical attack, 100% accuracy, only 10 PP. Okay, see, Senor Croco, no, it's time to evolve. Ladies and gentlemen, Skeledirge, by far the coolest. He kind of looks like a giant robot alligator crocodile, but with a giant kind of like sugar skull on him. And Torch Song, fantastic. So if you get your hands on one from a friend, fantastic for raids. And again, for absolutely amazing that Florigato looks and how dark and sinister and everything else, that kind of whole look kind of goes away a little bit. Meowscarada is, I think it's a court jester. That's its whole thing. And it has the big court jester hat in front of its face, and Flower Trick, its signature move that gives you the guaranteed critical hit. And honestly, you're not dealing with a lot of Pokemon who are building up their defense. And in raid dens, you're dealing with Pokemon who are building up their attack. So, with it all said and done, here are your starters, and also my ride Pokemon. Let's put him back. So, Quaquaval, Meowscarada, and Skeledirge. Honestly, they all kind of serve their purpose at one time or another, and I want to know what you think. Are you going with one of these Pokemon because you absolutely love their design? Do you like their strategies in battle? Is their base stat total something that you're definitely relying on? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below. Guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. Until next time. Oh, wait. Hang on. There we go. Perfect time. Oh, Meowscarada, could you get back in frame? He's just running around. Can you get over there? Please? Please? It's just... Okay. He's not cooperating. Thank you for being here. Subscribe for more Scarlet and Violet. Till next time, Austin John out.